Hey guys, it's Brandon with Investment Joy, and today I'm going to do a video update on this place. You guys have been asking me for what's going on with it. We're at, I think, 6 days of actual labor that my cousins put into it, and there's all sorts of crazy stuff that's going on with it. It's a disaster inside, and that's why you're watching my videos. So let's take a look on the inside right now. And before we get too far into the video, I wanted to give a big shout out to the Ridge Wallet for help sponsoring this video. The sponsorships of these videos help me produce more content like this, and I can pay my cousin a little bit extra on the rehab on this. So if you're looking for an excellent Father's Day gift for the guy in your life or the person in your life that cares about wallets, be sure to hit the link below. It helps out the channel, and you can get some money off with the code that's mentioned below. It's ridge.com/investmentjoy. No pressure, but I'd really appreciate it if you did. Thanks, guys. So, can you tell a difference? My cousin's been here for a total of 6 days doing renovations on the property, or more or less, he's mostly just spent a lot of time tearing everything out in this house to see how bad it actually is. It's 6 continuous days. As far as time actually goes, we're probably a month into the project, but in my opinion, for no more than 5, maybe 6 days of continual labor on the project, it's really starting to look good. Good's a relative term here because there's so much crap going on with this house that's problematic. So I'm going to grab the camera and show you guys what's going on here. So this is what used to be the living room with the LVT flooring. If you remember, it was an abject disaster. My cousin's come in, he has stripped down practically all the floor here in the living room. It looks pretty nice now as far as everything's concerned. He's removed the casing. The windows are likely all going to come out. This monstrosity of a front window is going to come out. The casing on it's terrible. One of the more noteworthy things about this property is the block had no moisture barrier in between the concrete block and any internal wall, even these studs here. So a phenomenal amount of this house has water damage, and it's been rotting. We've had to rip out every piece of possible drywall. All the ceilings are gone. Everything can be done. Everything that could be stripped out at this point just about is. Almost all the internal walls have to be rebuilt. We've got termite damage, and we've got it's insane. If you remember the kitchen, this is where the kitchen used to be. Everything that could be removed is removed. And behind that drywall there, we actually found what used to be a window to the old porch, which is now gone. The porch was actually annexed into additional bedrooms. If you remember, if you remember the ceiling, we've removed all the drywall here, and this is actually where they had the plastic bags. Oddly enough, right about here is where the plastic bags were held. There is no significant long-term water damage. Although my cousin very kindly pointed out that they did all these redneck hillbilly bumpkin repairs, like trying to splice these roof trusses together with freaking plywood. This is an old growth, true 2x4, which used to be common. There are advantages and disadvantages with old growth timber. Typically they're very strong though, but this is not how you go and you splice it. At one time, they had a good high quality beam here, and they have done a absolutely terrible job with a load-bearing wall. We're going to replace this beam here, and it's going to be a new laminated beam, so whenever we get a snowstorm, this whole place won't fall in on us and kill everybody. We're looking forward to that. So this is the furnace system, and it checks out to be pretty good. It's a recent install, but it lacks any central air, so we do currently plan on putting central air in here, which I'm hoping to do for under $2,000. The furnace is good. The ductwork here is here for the most part. So we just have to go through and rebuild that. In this section of the house, let's do this. In this section of the house, there's very minimal termite damage, which is a good thing since this is the older part of the home. And typically, or we would expect the severe termite damage to be here. As you can see, there is termite damage here, the sill plates, and it's just kind of generally looking crappy. But this section right here is some of the big extent of the termite damage, which is easily repaired. We're likely going to have to go through and cut these out and just redo the interior walls. The new section, and I use that term loosely, of this house wasn't so lucky when it comes to termite damage. When they did the bottom sill plate, they didn't really do too good of a job. This is an old porch section that they built to incorporate into the newer portion of the house, and they just didn't do this part right. So there is phenomenal amounts of termite damage here. I said in the previous video that there was water damage here. My cousin and I kind of got mixed up. I was pretty sure these were sill plates or sill tubes, and that's what they are. They're the termite tubes that they go down and they eat the beams or they eat your wood in your house. It's terrible, and up here at the header, it is just a disaster. Some of this is as thin as paper. This is formerly part of a wall, and as you can tell, the wood has been eaten through so badly you can see through it. When I say it's as thin as paper, I mean it. Thankfully, the roof trusses are not eaten up with termites too bad. The walls are what's the problem, and for us, it's a lot easier to fix the walls than it is to fix the roof trusses. They actually did a really great concrete job here. Unfortunately, this is just one of 3 bedrooms, and the other bedrooms did not fare very well. Some of the concrete is very severely cracked, and we will have to go through and seal it and fix it. Our current plan is to just use carpet, because as they say, carpet can hide a multitude of construction sins. And here's what happens when you don't watch water infiltration. This is completely rotted through. It's not termite damage. This is the water damage here. It's just an abject disaster, and it's made it all the way through to the bottom sill plate, and it's just really damaged. Now, I promised my cousin that he told me I had to point this out. When they ripped off the drywall, they found that this stud here was not attached to anything. It just completely fell out. He said, don't blame the demolition guys. This whole thing fell out onto them. I can only see one nail, both at the top and the bottom. This freaking thing's a disaster, but I'm really hopeful on the renovation of this property. I've got a budget of materials only and third contract labor. I am hoping to keep that under $15,000 with my cousin doing the lion's share of the renovation work, and then when it sells, if it sells, he gets a profit, or we're splitting the income off the property. I'm hoping to do that. We did have a company come in and they cut down the 2 gigantic, awful looking maple trees in the front. They've ground them down to the absolute base, and they did a freaking terrific job for $1,400. The guy, his name's Jeff. I can't say enough good things about him. I will not give you his number if you ask for it, because he is busy and the best in Southern Ohio. But if you're from the area, you know exactly who I'm talking to. Even the neighbor here told me that I should call Jeff to get the tree down. And the neighbor, who incidentally enough watches my YouTube channel, wanted me to remind you guys that to his knowledge, they did not sell crack out of this house. The reason that I lovingly titled this the crack house is because it was turned down as a crack house location for a movie. Location Scout contacted me asking for lower end properties. I sent him this one, and they ran as fast and as far as they could from this property because it's in terrible shape, or was in terrible shape. And number two, they may have had to kick out a lady of the evening that was living here. We have found multiple beds here when we come and clean it out. Additionally, we had someone for a princely sum of $100 rip out the top of this chimney, and they put a cap on the roof. So now hopefully the chimney won't leak water in, which is always a recurring problem with these older style chimneys. And on a pretty wonderful note, a house right down the street was listed. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, double wide on a permanent foundation, so it's considered real estate. They've listed it for $107,000. It's in good shape internally, bad shape externally. I hope it sells because my goal for this house was to sell it for $70,000. I've got $12,000 currently in a mortgage on the property. I'm hoping to spend $15,000 on the renovation on it, excluding my cousin's labor. That would give me a total investment of, I'm going to Google real quick.
One eternity later.
Okay, Google. Okay, Google. So theoretically, we should make $15,000 plus $27,500 would equal $42,500. We should end up with a profit on the place of $27,500 after it's all said and done. At least that's my hope. So be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you want more of this kind of content. Give me feedback because I'm using a camera, not a phone this time. And we'll be shooting a lot more content as I wrap up the trailer park project, which we are making progress on, and I'm sure there'll be a video update soon. I appreciate every single one of you watching my channel and supporting me, so thank you guys very much.